Hey guys, this has been requested for a while by some of you, and I thought I'd do it today because I actually happen to have a relatively short piece of drawing that I did at the weekend. So this is technically a part of my current campaign setting creation series, where this is actually my first pass at doing a drawing of one of the races, and the race in question is called the Alope. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about what they are, except that the base inspiration for them is the myth of the Jackalope from North America, which is kind of a combination of a jackrabbit and an antelope. I've always thought they were rather adorable animals, and well, cryptids, and you know, why not? Why the hell not? So I suppose I should talk a little bit about what I'm doing on the screen. First of all, I'm using ArtRage 4. I'm intending to get ArtRage 5 because, well, some of the enhancements in it are worth getting. Well, they're worth the $75-ish it'll cost me, but I don't have that money right now, so it's ArtRage 4 for now. And the way I typically start is I use the pencil tool in a color that doesn't exist in the final piece, and I then just use that to scratch out the rough out on a lower layer, and then I'll often change the opacity of that so that I can kind of semi-trace over it. The reason I say semi-trace over it is, as much as it can be very useful to trace directly over it, quite often I'll leave little errors and what have you in my scratch out, and I kind of use it more as a rough guide than as a final, like a true guide for the final piece. Okay, and here I'm just using the pen tool with a lot of smoothing, and that's one of the things I like about ArtRage 4 is the smoothing tool in it is very intuitive, and it's very simple, and it's quite enjoyable to use as well. I mean, it's a really great aspect of this particular piece of software. And I really like, if you're thinking about getting into digital art and you're an artist who's used to working with traditional media, I really highly recommend this. I would recommend this over Photoshop, over AutoSketch or Sketchbook. Yeah, it's Sketchbook. I would recommend it over almost anything because it's the closest thing you'll ever come to a traditional canvas in a digital format, because it really does feel very similar, especially if, like me, you're using a tablet monitor. My tablet monitor is a Ueon Canvas 15 version 2, HD version 2, and it's I suppose you'd have to say it's what passes for a budget model these days, but it still cost me about €500. You know, it was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination, and I have to say it helped me more than I thought possible. It helped me more than I thought anything ever would, because I didn't realize just how much using what I think of as a blank digitizer, using that was holding me back so far. It was holding me back so much, and I'm really happy that I got my tablet monitor because it's changed so much for me. Even editing videos I find easier using a stylus and keyboard shortcuts. So yeah, if you're really into your if you're really getting into digital art and you really want to go down that route, I really highly recommend going with ArtRage to begin with, and you cannot beat a proper digitizer. We're coming up pretty close to a moment where I realize that my body is about to betray me and I need to stop, but I still want to produce something, and I get really pissed off. And that's when it turns from being something where I was going to do like even this layer of line art is a rough out. This wouldn't be the final layer of line art, it would just be another rough out. And I kind of realized I wasn't going to be able to spend hour after hour after hour tweaking it. So I kind of scrap it and I go a different direction, and I actually go, fuck it, I'm going to do like what I usually think of as a 10-minute sketch, which is something that I do most days, just to kind of, I'm trying to teach myself a bit more the lines of gesture drawing. And this is where I kind of go, mad with the pencil tool. And weirdly, it kind of works out, and I didn't expect it to work out. I didn't expect it to work out as well as it did at all, but actually I ended up with a piece I was very happy with. And it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, the final result, but I do really enjoy it, and I really like what I came out with. It kind of weirdly reminds me of the kind of sketches you used to get in the first and second editions of Dungeons and Dragons, where like it wasn't a big company yet, they weren't TSR yet, there wasn't that whole vast swathes of personnel resources to throw into a project, so they kind of made do, and they were rough and they were simple, and it's one of the reasons why I will never ever get rid of my first edition first ed monster manual, because I love those sketches. They're so simple and they're kind of childlike, but at the same time they're not, and it's something I really love. So it's something that I kind of do for myself quite a bit, and in this case it kind of saved me from having nothing that to show that day, and this was Sunday, to having something that actually I'm pretty proud of and pretty happy with. I mean, it's not going to be one of the final images of a jackalope for the campaign setting. Well, alope. It's not going to be one of the final images for the alopes for the campaign setting that I'm working on, but you know, it's certainly something that I'm quite happy with, that going forward to use as like a foundation for developing that race. So yeah, it's I have to say I'm really enjoying going into digital art, and I've noticed quite a significant improvement in my abilities over the past, I suppose, really 2 months. I've been kind of seriously into it in the last 2 months, and I've seen a pretty significant spike in my capabilities. I mean, bearing in mind that the end result of this is like, I think it's about, I'm going to be like, I'm rendering this at twice speed, so it was really a 10-minute sketch, and for a 10-minute sketch I'm really happy with it. If I had put another 10 minutes into it, it would have been far more refined and far more detailed, but I'm okay with that. Also, you can't beat undo and redo. They are my best friends, along with copy paste. I do have another Let's Draw coming up. I did a kind of a fan image of David Baker from Forged in Fire, or David of Bakur, you know, salesman of exquisite blades and somewhat ropey armor. And I've done I have a recording of the full 4 hours it took me to draw it, so I'm going to be doing that one at probably about 16 times speed. But that's going to wait for another day when I'm not feeling quite as bad as I'm feeling today, so that I have time to actually talk about what I'm doing a bit better. I'm not really sure what else I can say about this. I really haven't. I suppose I could talk about the stylus on my tablet monitor, which has this triangular tip on it, like a draftsman's pen or a training pencil. Oh my god, I've never had a digital stylus like that before, and it's so comfortable to use and so easy for me to use. I love it, and I love the fact that it came with two, so I continuously have one on charge. Yeah, they have to be charged, unlike the Wacom ones, but you know, it's not really a problem, and I don't really mind it, much to my surprise. I thought it would drive me insane, but it hasn't at all, and I couldn't be happier about that. I'm so pleased with how it turned out, that I'm so comfortable with it, and that the learning curve on it was actually relatively shallow. It took a little getting used to, but it wasn't bad. I kind of want to say Amen to Butler, eat your heart out, but no one who isn't Irish and younger than me will actually even know who that is. But if you ever get the chance, look up Eamon de Butler to the Waters in the Wild, and he does these little sketches, and yeah, there's a touch of that in this. There's definitely a touch of that in this. But yeah, I think that's pretty close to where I finish up. Yeah, I just cropped the size, and yeah, I'm not 100% happy with this, and I'm looking at it, and right now I'm going, oh, I could have done this, and I could have done that, and I could have done the other. But considering I did this in 10 minutes, this version of it in 10 minutes, yeah, I don't have much to be sorry about at all. Oh, this is something I do every time. When I finish a session, I'll actually create a PNG file, and I'll create an ArtRage file. Just gives me a little bit more flexibility. So I hope someone enjoyed this. If you did, if you'd like to see more, let me know. I am going to be putting them up no matter what, but I'll put them up more often if people like these. So yeah, I'll be back again soon with something else. I hope you have a great day, be good, and bye for now.